Boni, your son has just said that this level of information he's finding out with us.
Hey, I don't think my wife knows some of these things.
Okay, so you've talked about 1st June. Let's continue from 1st June.
So the school, we had a green uniform. So the green uniform used to be called Wamadena, because Wamadena means the problem.
The people of drama.
Poverty. No, they not
Wamadena,
poverty.
washida.
Shida. So ile shule watu wa maskini, Wamadena problems. And historically, the schools, the approved schools were set up by the British. Take care of kids who were left behind when their parents were arrested during the Mau Mau. So most of these approved schools was land set aside many years ago, so that when these kids were loitering around in the streets, would be taken to there because their parents were in detention, killed to be reformed. It was a reform school. So Wamadena is a poverty shida. So I ran out from school with my friend to go and watch Chinga Dam.
What's Chinga Dam?
Chinga Dam is a dam. It's just a big dam to go and see.
Oh, okay.
Go and see Chinga Dam. Not to watch, to see.
Yeah, to see it.
Yeah, it was like sightseeing. So we walked. On our way back, my friend went to his dorm to drop his home clothes because he had change of clothes. And then me, as I was dropping mine, I was caught by the teacher. When I was caught, I was taken to the staff room. And he said, who are you with? I said, I was alone. He said, no, you're not alone. Where did you go? Who are you with? Let me tell you, they beat me for hours, stark naked. They stripped me. Blows.
Blows?
Blows, slaps, vijiti. And I was very tiny. That's 1997. I was so tiny. I was beat so bad. Guys came outside to just hear me screaming and all that. And after all that beating, I didn't say who I was with. And that earned me my first honors.
Stripes.
As I was soft,
you got your gangster points.
I did not confess.
You ain't no snitch.
I was no snitch, man. And I had been tried because guys used to smoke weed in the rooms. And so they tried to make me smoke weed. So they would pass around a joint and everyone takes a puff. But when they gave me a puff, I shook so hard, it dropped that I couldn't smoke it. But because, I'll take you back a bit. Many years earlier when I was living in Gara, I used to live outside a garage. And in that garage, outside there was mechanics smoking. So one time, I took a cigarette stub and started smoking it. My brother caught me. My brother told my mother and that guy called Sebastian. And they went and bought me a packet of Rooster. And they said, you want to smoke? Yes, smoke it. I tried to smoke, I couldn't smoke, they beat me. So every time I used to see a cigarette.
Do you smoke now?
Trauma. No, I don't smoke. Trauma. So that had my first stripe. So when we were in that school, we decided to talk about we're not getting enough food, we're talking about the complaint. So I said, let's do a strike. First strike, we did a strike, they get to give us more food. Then they didn't. So
was it this day, Bonnie, your first protest ever?
Yeah.
So was this a PG strike or a R18 strike? A PG strike is guys just come into the dormitory and nobody serves food, or guys comes to the lunch table and nobody serves food.
So we don't leave our rooms.
Oh, you don't leave your room. Okay, so it was okay, good. It was a organized strike. It wasn't for banning schools.
No, we're in a approved school, bro. If we ban, they call police. And if and this other thing about, so we all knew, because every single person who has gone to approved school has gone through a police station. They know. And they know very well that if they come for you, you're not leaving there to go home, you're going to another police station. No, you guys.
Yeah.
For example, for you to leave approved school, to go home, you need a letter. You don't wake up and go. You need an absence of leave. You're given a letter that you can go take to the local chief. When I went back, every time I used to leave approved school and go home, my grandmother would go and tell the chief, this boy is in my house.
Wow.
That was the system. Because you're considered trouble. When you reach 18, you're given a document called released to be at large. You're allowed to be at large. You've been released.
Wow.
There's a passbook. There's a book you're given to be Bro, you're an inmate. I have a number. 13,583. I have an inmate's number, bro. I'm government property until the age of 18.
Yeah.
So, bro, ndio mimi, they didn't listen to us.
No, go on. That's another. Ni dawa ya mwisho. Okay, sasa.
So 13,583 is my number. So we organized another strike and we decided to all leave the school. So we leave the school, all of us, and decided to go home. And then we agreed the day we're going to come back. So we go home. Then when we come back to school,
Cops.
I came back the first one. Yes. I landed like this with my mother. Mbona ni vizuri umemleta sawa. Santi. My mother left. I was thrown to the other police station for a week as punishment for organizing that. So
was anyone else thrown in?
No, everyone heard what happened to me. Guys didn't come back. Even one guy didn't sit for his exams. He got scared. I think 1 or 2 people didn't sit for the exams. So I was thrown in the police station. After a week, I was released back to the school. So that was like punishment for being involved in that strike.
How did they know you are organized? There was a snitch.
There's always a snitch. Okay, one person called Getal was left in the school. And because he was a total orphan, he had nowhere to go. So he was left in the school. So maybe he said it was me. I don't know who said it was me. I came back, sat my class 8, and I passed.
Do you remember what you got?
I was top in my class of 6 people.
Hey, you're still top in your approved school.
I was top. And then top in my class. I went home, came back in January. I wanted to go to a civilian school. My mother couldn't afford. Sasa mimi napelekwa Kabete approved school. Now Kabete,
also, you could have gone at that time to a different school.
If my mother could actually apply to the court to allow me to go to a civilian school. But you see now, even when I go to that, I must get a court release order. Because the government need to be in approved for 7 years, from 11 till I'm 18. So you need to get a release order and approvals for you to go to a civilian school.
So let me ask, during the holidays, was it only in the school where you were being checked, or did you have, a parole officer? Or at this time, it's not even that
you
stage?
Report to the local chief.
The local chief?
You're given a letter. When you're going for absence, you're given a letter.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you copies so you can show people.
Yeah.
You're given a letter to go home. So when you go home with that letter, you go and to the local chief report, in this approved school, and I'm home until this day.
A chief, what is the level of a chief in today's day and age?
They're still there. The
chiefs are still there?
They're never removed. The chief is still there.
So
chief is now equivalent of a local police station, but now, but the chiefs are still there. Actually,
I get it.
Even right now, in the village, most of the mediation is done by chief.
Okay. I get. Question now again.
Yes.
So you don't get into this, you pass, but you're not able to get into
civilian school.
Yes.
My mother can't afford to pay for me. So I go back to approved school. So Kabete now is where I land. My bado ni softy. I land in Kabete, it's different. When I was talking about kids being molested, and even Odhaya, there was a bit of molestation, but that one was more consensual, where guys would actually sell their body for food, soap and things.
What?
Yeah, just small kids. Big boys take advantage. Small boys, so a lot of that.
This is rape we're talking about.
This is rape and defilement, but it's a broken system. In Odhaya, actually, we had a teacher called Undertaker. Undertaker would actually take you, put inside of a sack, then close it, then beat you. So half of your body is in a sack. You can barely see shit. Then he steps on your back over here. Then he beats you. Just call him Undertaker. Because that's what ukitona Undertaker unajua umekufa. And it was huge. Like we had the teachers in approved school are a special breed. For them, corporal punishment is like violence. Ukipigwa umepigwa. And I think that's what they used to call me softy, because me would cry. I remember one time.
But you didn't snitch.
One time, we were on the parade.
Yeah.
Some guys caught, I don't know what the person was doing. But now, because I was the easy target out, akasema tulikuwa na yeye. tulikuwa naye mwalimu. Mimi napigwa sijui kwa nini. Then when I start crying nasema mwalimu acha anajililisha na tulikuwa naye but I had no idea what this guy had done. Nikapigwa vita si yangu, nilekelewa na masi yangu, nikachapwa. One time actually on my stomach I have a mark, like someone bit my meat, like my stomach, akatoka na nyama ile akatema. But this is actually what happens. This boy used to pick on me every day. I would sit, anakuja na nigonga, anamwagia kitanda yangu maji, ile tu madharau tu. One day I snapped.
You snapped, yep.
I beat that boy so hard for me to let him go. He had to eat part of my, like, for me to let him go, because I snapped. I just lost it. I beat him so bad. He was bleeding everywhere. I was like, I almost killed him. For me to let him go, alitoka na nyama kwa tumbo akatema. I still have the mark. Because I couldn't. You just snap because you used to. Because alikuwa ananiambia, nilikuwa nga softy. So if you want to pick on someone, just go and pick the other guy. But when I was in that school, I read every book. We had a very small library. So if I'm not reading, I'm just, because I'm not very sporty.
So what books were you enjoying?
Story books. Kuko na vitabu mingi. So anything that I could find my hand at, I could find anything that I could lay my hands on, I read. And the other thing that actually, and it's been a struggle for me now as an adult, is that as a young child, because there are not many books, the few books that were there, I didn't have enough time with them. So I read so fast. So I came up with this habit. I swallow my words a lot because of that. And even when you tell me to read, I don't respect punctuation and comma and full stop, because my mind, I had to read a book very fast before ninyang'anywe. So kusoma tu haraka. And then because of that, of me being a very softy guy, when I was young and people not hearing me or listening to me, I had to learn to speak very fast before the film stop. So and now I have to retrain my mind that I don't have to speak as fast. I don't really have to read as fast. But it's very hard to unlearn things that you learned when in your formative years. So we go to Kabete. My mother drops me in the school. Ninaangalia shule si mbaya, classes tuingia huko now, bullying now. Sham tu vyombo. The same thing, the big boys are taking small boys as wives. I'm like, dude, this is so messed up. So mimi nilikuwa najua kusoma kidogo. Actually, another story. Wajua nilikuwa there approved school, nilikuwa naambia watu Kamoda was the education minister. Nilikuwa naambia si uko joko proportionment ni Kamoda alisema ni legal, napigwa. Sasa nikaenda Kabete.
Kabete High School.
Yeah, Kabete approved school.
Okay, approved. Yeah.
So niko form 1, niko first term. So najaribu tu kufeel the same thing, bullying, peddling of drugs. There's a guy called Olekwara, director of children services. Olekwara was picking boys from the school to go and do work in his farm. This is messed up, man. So me, I started complaining.
Form 1.
Yeah. Kucomplain, napigwa. As in nikisema kitu yote, nikienda kuulizia msee, I was very small, napigwa. Nikamwambia udijo ni aje? Nikamwambia mambo human rights. Nikamwambia in Kenya there's no human rights without money. There's no human rights. What is human rights? So I decided to start a school magazine. Inside the school magazine, we wrote about our issues. We got into trouble. So I realized, you know what? I can do something about it. Now, this is where my dad comes in. My dad was working for Home Affairs then, but I didn't know he was my father. But I had gone to see him with my mom when I passed class 8. When I got circumcised, my mother took me to see this guy, and I think he gave me 500 bob or 1,000 bob, whatever it was. So when we went to that building, tukaingia, alikuwa Home Affairs this side, on this other side kulikuwa na red carpet, tulikuwa na Home Affairs. So you see approved schools under Home Affairs. So I knew where the office was. So I went back to school and I said, I need to talk about the things that are actually happening here, see if something can be done. So I go to Home Affairs Ministry. I'm very small, and I asked to see the minister.
No way.
Yes. So I asked to see Minister for Home Affairs, Sharif Nasir. So I walk into his office.
They allow?
Yes, they allow me to go in. I was very young, 14 years old. I walk into that
First and foremost, that I know you're coming to that story, but I can imagine me walking right now to go and see Joe Musheru, Minister of ICT.
You don't allow you
even the entry.
They don't allow you in. So I went in very small to see the minister. Nikaingia, nikakaa chini. So this is the first time on a red carpet ever in my life. I'm 14 years old. It's a very big office. Mahogany walls, like mbao. There was a fish pond, big fish pond in his office. Then a very short stature man at the very end. Kuna kipara, white hair. Kaa chini mtoto wangu. I sat down. I told him my problems. Kambia, I'm here because I'm in this school and these are the issues, these are the problems. Uko na evidence yote? Okay. Akanipatia 250s, it was 100 shillings. Kaniambia sawa, enda kuja na evidence. Sasa mimi ndio huyo, I went looking for my mother. Said I saw this minister, I said I should take evidence. What do you think? Kambia now, don't you get the evidence, it has to be visual. So, what do you need? I said I need a camera.
Now
here is I get into photography. So my mother, so our rent was 800 shillings where we were staying in Pango. So in Pangani, where my mother moved into that big house, my mother got so broke and we had to be moved into a smaller house, like a cubicle. So we had a double decker. Mimi nalala juu, mother nalala chini. So tulikuwa kuna double decker moja, then tunapikia hapo nje ya mlango. It was a very small house, very tiny house. So my mother takes the equivalent of 1 month rent, 1,000 shillings, because the rent was 800, and buys me a camera. I go back to approved school. I document, I take pictures of what's the drug trade, the bullying.
Now, how are you taking these pictures? First of all, how have you even entered with the camera? Ama, you knew the way around?
So I was a student, I grew up in the system. So, and then I give money to the head boy. Because you see, like weekends, the teachers were very absent. They let the boys take care of themselves. So you find that even right now in approved school, the teachers just supervised by the kids run schools.
Yeah.
Like even in high schools in this country,
yeah.
It's run by head boys and prefects. So same style. So I document the cigarettes, the
guys, your students let you document?
The head boy, unapatiana tu pesa.
Oh.
So they let me, I document, and then I had one big boy who was with me, who was part of the school magazine. I wish when he was watching this, was it King? No, I can't even remember his name because we got expelled together. I don't know where he is now. So I document what's going on in the school. I do a very long letter with the evidence and the pictures, and I take to the school.
Okay.
I take to the minister.
So wait, I want to understand this process.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, where do you even get the money to develop the pictures?
So my mother.
Because remember, this is not 2010 for selfies.
This is 1998. So my mother bought me a camera, and where my mother now, because my mother was selling books. So my mother was selling books at that particular time, there was
a place to develop films.
Yeah. So where we bought the camera for, it was 999 to a Kodak, 99 something. So tukabuy hiyo Kodak, nikapiga mapicha shule, tukaandika ripoti, nikapelekea Minister for Home Affairs, Sharif Nasir.
What?
And nikapeleka evidence of what's going on in the school.
So the guy couldn't believe when you came back?
Bro.
This is not where you have a mobile phone, you're calling the guy and telling him anakuja.
Guess what? Sinimepeleka evidence. Haya. Sinimepata evidence. So she want to come back and follow up. I was denied entry. I wasn't allowed to see the minister again.
What?
So I went the first time, good. Second time for the evidence, I wasn't allowed to go in. So now they took the evidence. When I follow up with the school, they decided because I even mentioned the director of children's services was actually getting boys from the school to go and farm in his land. It was there.
Yeah.
He was told to investigate the director of children's services. So now they came back with evidence. There was a weed smoker. There was disruptive. They came back with a fake report, which I've never seen. That's what they claimed. Now I couldn't see the minister anymore. I couldn't get access to that. And then I wasn't accepted back in school.
Yeah.
July 1998, my education ended. Form 1 nikafukuzwa shule, nimefukuzwa approved school. Wakanifukuza approved school.
Ukafukuzwa approved school.
Imagine that. I was expelled.
But this time for something good.
Yes.
Like when I look in retrospect, you were expelled because you were fighting injustice.
Yes, but for highlighting what was going on. So mimi ndio huyo na mapicha zangu, but now I was left with the camera for 99 shillings. So nikafukuzwa shule 1998.
And have you ever been back to school?
No. But that's another story. I'll tell you how I went back to school. So 1998 masomo kwisha. So
and there was nothing you could do. So okay, let me understand this. While you're doing your investigations, so you've seen the minister's like, no, wonderful, do this, go and do your research, go and bring evidence. Yes. At the same time, he tells somebody else.
So when I bring the evidence, he tells his director to investigate my allegations.
Yeah.
But the director is the one who I've mentioned in the report.
Yeah.
And the teachers.
Man. So, okay, how did that make you feel? Because I feel like that's who you are till today, Boni. You're trying to fight those.
Now, so this is what actually happens to me. It moves me into silence. Because this girl was trying to do the right thing, then I get punished for doing the right thing. Excuse me. So it moves me into silence. So I'm expelled. I start saying now I don't have to do business.